should be getting this, you should be happy about that. Don't tell me what I should be bloody happy about, mate.
Well, what are you happy about, Miles?
I don't know. Eric Ten Hag's still your manager. David Moyes is gone. The Dragons won again.
Yeah, all of that. Look, let's just on Ten Hag to start with. I just love this because I can't wait for all the British media plonkers who had already signed his death warrant now having to reverse that. It's a peculiar one, though, isn't it? Because the word was that he had gone. What has changed that? What, just that FA Cup final win? A great performance against Man City. Great tactical appreciation from him. But surely that result alone can't be the reason.
Well, how often have we seen that? You say that. Didn't a certain Mr. or Sir Alex Ferguson be on the verge of the sack and then win the FA Cup and then go on to have like a 27-year tenure winning multiple Premier League titles? So, I'm not saying that Ten Hag's going to be another Sir Alex, but the precedent's there. They've obviously seen something in. I mean, with the takeover with Ratcliffe and Ineos taking over, I think they like Ten Hag's willingness to work with youth and give youth a chance. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? Give some money for the starvers and give youth a chance.
Give youth a chance,
But I think I think they like that, and I undoubtedly. I mean, I thought that performance against City was fantastic. I mean, Real Madrid couldn't have put up a better performance. In fact, I thought it was better than the Real Madrid performance when Madrid knocked them out of the Champions League. So maybe that did have a big say in it. Interesting, though, like you say, if all these other people, Tuchel and all these people being lined up for it, De Zerbi, all these ones, who would you have liked if it wasn't Ten Hag?
Yeah, it's a great question. I suppose Pochettino would have been my favourite out of them, and I don't know why. I've been trying to think over the last few weeks, who do I want to step into that role? And I was thinking him, but why him? I don't know why him. Tuchel, probably number two, only because they're well-known managers, and you kind of think with both of those guys that they're better than the fact that they haven't actually achieved very much so far, but. Look, I'm quite happy for him to stay. Again, I just want half the squad to be sacked, but I just can't see that many people buying our players. You know what happens after every Euros too, mate, is that it's just a big shopping list, and all of a sudden somebody does something amazing, like Poborski with that little chip in 96, and then all of a sudden you buy him on the basis of that, and he's an absolute flop. So that's what I expect to happen. I expect us to just sign up a whole lot of losers that do one good thing in these Euros. Let's park the Euros anyway, mate, because I want to talk about the T20 World Cup to start with. We just had Danny Morrison on, and Gary Stead is obviously... gone to PR Training 101 again, and he's kind of trying to soften his comments from last week about no warm-up matches. He's now actually saying today, we did have the opportunity, but we just, we couldn't get these organised and they wouldn't let us play them late. But the key quote that no one's reporting is he said, we knew about this months ago. So if you knew about it months ago, well, surely you could have actually had time to do something about it, couldn't you? I mean, I just don't think there's any excuse for this lack of preparation. I think it's disrespectful.
Neither do I, and I don't think there's any excuse. And we spoke about this last week about the players, certain key players going on holiday for a couple of weeks before they, when in essence all they've been doing is having a holiday in India anyway. So I think he really is skating close to the win now, or sailing close to the win. I think his job's in peril at the moment, Gary Stead. There's been sort of rumblings going for a while now. The Afghanistan result was Afghanistan are a decent side nowadays, especially in those shorter formats. But it was just the
nature of it,
of the defeat.
Yeah, hell yes.
And the nature of it was, really put them on the back foot. And if they lose to the Windies, they're in essence just about out.
Well, no, they'll join you lot. They'll join you lot in the second division of World T20.
Mate, I tell you what, I thought the ODI World Cup was better. This could turn out to be even worse. I mean, we got 1 point. You think, we lost 1 point against Scotland. No, we didn't. They were 90 without loss.
Yeah.
We gained 1 point thanks to the weather against the old sweaty Sharks. Now, Australia look like they're reaming the old Namibians.
Yeah, totally, mate. Yeah.
Pardon me. So if they win that, they can go out against Scotland and say, look, let's just have a bit of a laugh, again there. Let Scotland win, and England are gone.
That would be so. See, this is. I would hope that thought comes into their head, because that thought came into my head, and if that was the case, this is Australia and England at cricket, man. There's no love lost at all there, is there? Just speaking of your national teams while we're on it, though. So Steve Borthwick, who I know that you rate as highly as David Moyes, the coach of the England rugby team, he's, I'm reading that he's working on this plan to just create history and win a test match here against the All Blacks. You bring in a couple of ex-Kiwis who are playing for you. I like that.
We've already done that.
Last century, mate. It was last century.
We did it in 2003.
Yeah, good point. Actually, good point. It wasn't last century. You're right. Actually, but do you rate yourselves? Do you give yourselves a chance? Because you should, given the fact that this is an All Black side that still has plenty to prove. We haven't all of a sudden got this brilliant new pool of players. We've still got the same lot over the last 3 or 4 years that have lost a lot of Test matches.
Do you know something? I think the squad they're sending down there is probably the stronger, not the usual BC side that we would have sent down. I think the squad looks pretty decent. But if we'd have had the coach that we should have had, who's now coaching the All Blacks, I would have fancied our chances. But with Borthwick, I'm not convinced by him at all. I did see a big improvement in the latter stages of the Six Nations. They sort of dug a little bit deeper. But there's still the amount of...
Well, you played well against Ireland, mate. You were bloody good against Ireland. You were convincing.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But, I mean, but if you look at the amount of players that we've got, we're still... When you see Danny Kerr still running around, coming up the bench and playing for England, you think, is that it? I mean, I was still at school when he started playing.
Isn't that brilliant, eh?
And you think there's got to be more talent floating around, and why isn't it getting developed? Why isn't it, getting the chances? Whereas New Zealand seem to, mind you, talk about Aaron Smith being there for 100 years, and now he's gone, you're panicking. But you'd expect England got so many resources, they spend so much money, you'd expect a little bit better in succession planning.
What is the deal with England? Miles is with us on the platform, people, every single Wednesday. Sport equals MD squared, and that's Martin Devlin, Miles Davis squared. So what is it with, why you always...
No, Miles
Davis, Martin Devlin squared. I'm sorry. Why is it that you've got so many people that you think potentially could coach your national teams? You always pick the most vanilla, boring, stifling person. Southgate is that guy. Look, my kids are on to me last night. They're saying, Dad, we want to obviously punt on the Euros. England have got a great chance. I said, England have got no chance, because the further it gets through the tournament, their coach, all he thinks about is nil, making sure that you don't concede goals, which means that your whole focus is looking backwards towards your own goalkeeper as opposed to forwards. You got a generational midfield there, just like you had Scholes and Becks and Gerrard and Lampard, and couldn't get that right. Now you've got a brilliant midfield. You've got Declan Rice, who can actually play that fifth kind of midfield defender role. You don't need 5 across the bat. You've got a great front line, but he puts Harry Kane at the halfway line. Mate, I know what's going to happen here. You got to make the quarters or the semis, but it'll be a penalty shootout, or you'll go out 1-0, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is you talk about a guy that's very cautious or pedestrian in the style he plays, very fearful, and we're not very good at defending, because we always concede goals. So that tactic's obviously not working. I've told you this before. In my opinion, it's only my opinion, I think that we've got the greatest pool